Thank you. It is really wonderful to see you here. And the way I'd like to start is the way that we start our Live Your Brain sessions. And this mindset course that's coming up is modeled after the Love Your Brains. And that is with a calm meditation. Whoops. Okay, hold on while I get my cursor back over where it's supposed to be. I know, I'm not quite sure either, obviously. It's good at all. There we go. And am I on the page now? Oh, I can't navigate it. That's silly. Okay, hold on. No, I'm not sure why I can't. Oh, there we go. Now I can. You see what's coming next.
I suppose this one.
And now we'll come. So before we get started, let's purposely arrive together for this session. So it's a TBI friendly way that we come together. And this practice is called CALM, which stands for chest, arms, legs, and mind. So we'll take these next few moments to shift from whatever you were doing previously to this time together. So we'll start by sitting in a way that brings you a sense of steadiness and ease in your body. You might place both feet on the floor, lengthen up through your spine. Your eyes might be open with a soft gaze, or maybe you close your eyes. Letting your hands rest wherever they find most comfort. Taking a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Another slow breath in, gathering your attention, and a slow breath out. And noticing your body breathing in a pace that's just right for you. Your chest expanding and softening in synchrony with your breath. Feeling the pulse of your breath, gently moving in and out. Noticing your arms heavy and at ease by your sides. Noticing any sensations or absence of sensations in your shoulders, elbows, palms. And as best you can, relax your arms 5% more. And feel your legs, the steady connection of your legs resting on the surface beneath you. Perhaps your seat on the chair, your feet on the floor. Noticing how your legs feel from the inside out. Now with kind attention, notice the state of your mind. Does it feel focused and at ease? Or perhaps distracted and tired? Just welcoming whatever is most present for you as we acknowledge where we're starting from today. Taking a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Finally, crossing your hands over at the wrists. You're going to gently massage from the wrists up to the elbows, from the elbows up to the shoulders. When you get to the shoulders, gently slide one hand on top of the other over your heart, feeling into this caring place and whatever it may be holding for you in this moment. Feeling how each of us is not alone, despite distance between us, those on Zoom, those present here. We're all showing up for each other from a place of care. Taking a slow breath in And a slow breath out. Checking in with your whole body, mind, and heart. What is a word that describes how you're feeling right now? Just if it was distilled down to a word. Just might notice that. When you're ready, gently blinking open your eyes. Let your hands either stay on the heart or find a comfortable resting place. So that's how we start our sessions, to really have an opportunity to shift from the busyness of the day to fully being present. Sometimes we're present in our body, but our thoughts and our emotions are elsewhere. So this helps us to come together a little bit more. So why meditation? I think you can relate to it from the image that often we feel this way and we long for more of this. And research shows that meditation improves our attention skills by increasing the thickness of the prefrontal cortex associated with focus and decision making. It augments memory by changing the brain structures associated with memory, including the hippocampus. It enhances self-esteem, enhances community integration, reduces mental fatigue by supporting better information processing, and reduces stress by shrinking the amygdala, our fear and anxiety response center. So lots of good reasons. Meditation does a lot of things. Here are some of the things that studies show. If you'd like any information on those studies, let me know, because it's kind of hard to read the small print under there. And the power of connection and community is huge in the brain injury community. So often you feel like you're alone with what you're experiencing. So you look the same on the outside, feel very different inside after a concussion, and other people might not really recognize that. And so when you can gather with other people, it is healing happens. Healing happens in community, not in isolation. Trauma heals in healthy relationships, where one is seen, heard, validated, and respected. That's from Psychology Today. These images are from the last Love Your Brain retreat that I was at. There's a few of them a year in Colorado and Maine. This was at one of the Colorado retreats. And that community looks pretty happy. They didn't know each other the first day. And through the course of time, it's such a friendly, supportive community. And we'd love to have something similar with the concussion resource community. So here are some quotes from individuals that participated in the online ones that I've done. So with Love Your Brain, I do the mindset series via Zoom. And so we want to be able to offer a live opportunity here. And so some of the most recent responses have been, I've been struggling to find a mental health therapist that really understands and is able to support me through the aftermath of my injury. I found the Love Your Brain mindset program to be more valuable than any mental health therapy relationship I've had. These comments from this group, they were really such a cohesive group. They still stay in contact. Even after our group ended, they're still maintaining their contact. This weekly meeting keeps me centered and brings me back to the right mindset. Being with such an incredible group of people who are working through similar challenges gives me hope and an opportunity for encouraging and supporting others. So those really speak to the power of a group and being able to be with others who understand. To support empathy and positivity of the program helped me the support, empathy and positivity of the program helped me to reduce my stress level. This was a lifeline when I was drowning, and I learned a lot from others and felt I could share openly and be understood. So how do we do this in the series? We have a 6-week series coming up starting April 18th. It'll be on Tuesdays here, upstairs here, from 5 to 6 p.m., so right around the same time. Most of the offices downstairs will be done for the day, so it should be pretty quiet up here. We'll sit in a circle. You can sit on the floor or sit in chairs. So we meet for an hour. We set the stage with agreements first. We have agreements of respect, vulnerability, confidentiality, and inclusion. So respect for you and your needs. If you need a glass of water, you need the restroom, you take care. You take care of yourself. Respect for one another and respect for the space. Vulnerability, it's a cry-friendly and a laugh-friendly space. A lot is shared often in the meeting. So we have this, this knowing that it's a cry-friendly and a laugh-friendly space. And that also leads us to confidentiality, with a sense that stories and names stay and lessons leave. That's the easiest way for us to put it. And then the sense of inclusion, where all voices are welcome. And there are some days when you just don't feel like talking, and that's okay, that your presence is a gift with the group and you can just be actively listening. But we try to welcome people to participate. And sometimes I might interrupt just lovingly to make sure everybody has a chance to speak. So try to help everyone have an opportunity to talk. We start with the guided meditation, and then we have a talk on whatever our theme for the week is. And then we have a guided discussion on that theme. So the themes, and then we wrap up with a short closing meditation. The themes are resilience, mindfulness, intention, realistic optimism, positive thinking, and gratitude. So I give a little description of how that relates, what it is in general, and how it relates to having a concussion, or the challenges you may have afterwards, and then open for discussion. So I thought I would share one of those topics with you, so you kind of have an idea of how we do that. So this topic is realistic optimism, is one that I thought I would share of our 4th week. So realistic optimism is an important part of a growth mindset and resilience, because it reinforces the belief that progress comes from effort and learning and new approaches to challenges. And I apologize if I was speaking too quickly, because I know that's not very concussion friendly. I think I just get excited speaking in this group, so I apologize. I'll try to slow it down. Realistic optimism is your ability to acknowledge obstacles without getting bogged down by them, and see opportunities to work toward what is possible. And with this attitude, people have hope and confidence that they can make good things happen, even in rough conditions, through hard work, persistence, and choosing the right strategies. You can imagine what might become possible instead of limiting your view to only what's possible right now. And importantly, you don't only focus on the positive or assume that everything's going to work out. Instead, you pay attention to setbacks and believe that you can work around it. After a concussion, it's easy to get stuck in what you think you're failing at and forget about all the ways that you're succeeding. Strategies that can help shift from that towards more realistic optimism is just a simple statement like yet, of I can't drive, can change to I can't drive yet. Or using a strength-based approach by reflecting on how am I learning and growing from this. So working to cultivate realistic optimism is important because it allows us to overcome obstacles, see our capacity for growth, and continue to build our resilience. So a few important points are, while avoidance and denial can help you cope in the short term, they ultimately stand in the way of growth and problem solving. By being realistic and accepting the reality of the situation, there's more opportunity to take perspective and think creatively about solutions. By being optimistic and reframing the situations more positively, you broaden your perspective and see possibility instead of dead ends. So that's a little bit of what I would share with the group. And then it would open it up to discussion of what's one challenging outcome of your injury and how are you growing from it? The challenges are what we tend to see, but the how we're growing from it, sometimes we don't even recognize that. And we have to look back and see how far we've come. Some of the shares from participants that I thought I would share with you of, what do people say with this? And this is a really challenging topic. Week 4 is one of the challenging ones, realistic optimism. It's because the obstacles can seem big. One participant shared recently that reading is a challenge post-concussion. She has a blind friend, and for both of them, it's been a really wonderful relationship for one to practice her reading to her blind friend because her friend can't read a book either. So that was a positive outcome that came out of it because she felt a little isolated, but then she developed this relationship by being able to read to somebody. And it was a really nice support of one another. Another participant shared that being on the phone or the computer is really challenging with that screen time. And it helped her to recognize how unnecessary some of her previous usage was. Yeah, it's hard to do some of the things you might want to do, but also realize, gosh, there's a lot I was doing that I didn't need to do. And she felt that it helped change her relationship with technology. Often people have said, I can't run, I can't bike, I can't walk like I used to changing it to, I walked to the end of the driveway today, or I walked a block. There's one participant in the last group that I did. He didn't have a concussion. It was acquired brain injury through a stroke that was in the group, but was very active prior, and took him a very long time to get back to active again. And his goal now is to run a mile a day. And so motivating. And, that could be a block a day. But his goal is a mile a day. And he shares pictures of his accomplishments to inspire others. He started a Black Men Run, which turned into a national nonprofit group of runners. So just taking this approach rather than looking at what I can't do, this is what I can do. And sharing that with others has a lot of momentum. Feeling alone and misunderstood is something that, is a big challenge. And then participating in the group is the benefit that came out of it. Being with other people that also feel like they've been misunderstood. And just understanding one another and having that human connection. A common thread through every program I've worked with the Mindset series is a sense of compassion, having an understanding that everybody has a struggle. And so you feel yourself struggling, and then you might look at somebody else and realize they might have a struggle too that I can't even see, and just becoming a more compassionate person. So those are some of the discussions that have come out of this challenging topic of having realistic optimism. That is a basic summary of the series of what it is and how we'll be approaching the different topics. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it because I really hope that you or somebody would be interested in participating, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have with regard to the material or the series. And I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know your time is precious.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
I just feel that Tori brought this idea up to me. It's just like, this is something that I feel that's been lacking with the Concussion Resource Center, is that community sense. And I think a lot of it's because of the pandemic and stuff, but we've been doing so many things online. iRest has been online. At one point we did have yoga that was in person. And then we did have, I don't know if we ever, did we do some iRest in person? I'm sure we just automatically.
We did at Renew Yoga. I think we did one round or two. Yeah, it was just prior to pandemic.
And some of it though, I don't know if any of you participate in the iRest, but it's very much relaxation. At the end of it, everybody's just so relaxed that it's not like they're going to sit around and talk to the group. So that we didn't really have that community aspect. And I felt there was a missing link of just kind of just call it a support group, but just meeting other people who are having similar struggles. And as Tori said, as far as that compassion or the fear that you're not the only one, but also be able to share some of the resources that you found or some things that helped you. And that's what I feel it's been missing. Just it's been hard to tried to do community walks at Story Mill Park. Didn't really have a lot of people show up for that. We tried to do events. We're also been at Story Mill when we do activity, but then sit around and talk and chat while doing that activity. And just things haven't quite taken off the way I'd like to see it. So I'm hoping that this will be something. I mean, it just seemed like it meets that niche that I was feeling was missing within education and resources, but have that community who can meet other people who are without a condition. How are they doing? So isolated. So just this program is like perfect for that, and the topics are just so right on. Thinking about it in a very positive. I was just doing actually some continuing education a little bit late, but reading some research showing that it can have that positive outlook. How that helps with the recovery. More than I need to. Any other
No, thank
comments,
you.
or what are your first impressions of this? A lot of the topics are being just
Yeah, so tools to help navigate the challenges, and how can mindfulness help us with it? What does resilience mean? How does mindfulness help me with the challenges I'm facing as a result of the concussion? So each individual will have a different experience, but just being able to offer these tools that could be supportive in navigating forward. The idea of the resilience topic is that rather than going back to who we were, going forward and being the best we can in the moment, in the situation that we are in, and how do we do that? So one step at a time, moving forward and gathering our tools to support us. Yeah.
And there's evidence showing that the changes in the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to function. Yeah. All of these topics are research-based. So if you're interested in more research on it, definitely can get you some of that, because my learning comes through the Love Your Brain organization. Some just my personal experiences in meditation and yoga and life, I guess. But we don't have any in-person Love Your Brain in Bozeman. There's very few locations. And so this is another way to share some of these resources through the Concussion Resource Center. And yeah, the power of gratitude has been studied for a long time. And with post-concussion, often humans in general have a lot of negative thoughts because our brain's wired with a negativity bias to protect us. And then those can be amplified post-concussion. And so to have some of the tools to navigate through that as well, how do we work with some of these negative thoughts that seem like they're just, constantly coming up, and being able to talk with others. And is that sort of helping answer your question of how these can help?
It's not actually, physiologically, some of the neurotransmitters too, pleasure and attitude, positive feelings, actually, dopamine, feel better overall, et cetera.
Mary, did you have a question?
Is probably also supposed to be stress. So obviously, tools.
Absolutely. Right.
And the other question is open to just
also be people that are helping care for caregivers.
So I would say the priority is going to be people with, but if there's other additional space within theories. And then also can help you understand what your loved one is going through, then it helps you support them. Gratitude. But also personally. Go through, not just.
Yeah. I've had some caregivers in my group and it helps them when they hear other people's experiences, it helps them to understand the person they care for from a different perspective. I haven't had two participating at the same time, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't be that way.
And we're concerned with both being just willing to share.
Right.
There.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Going about
you
that.
often you could have just say caregivers. Because that has its own instructions. And then the privacy for the confessions, it's true, just to have that space to be able to share is very important. But it's kind of cool if the groups would do what they do, but then everyone's more come together. You know, and we could do it in- I don't know, it just seems like there is a point in the group process where the people might feel like I wish people I live with knew this. And there's also people who are caregiving need the support because they can start getting into all their so when you put them all together all the time, it was it would be like both sides looking at it from a little different angle and winding back and picturing.
I love those ideas and trying to think, this is new to us. And this is developing this first series.
Yeah, I think
Just
it
we
could
get more people.
Right, it could probably take some time to, you know,
But I would- like you said, every meeting together, an open meeting with both. But there can hear also, I think as a caregiver, I think it's good, the person who's had the concussion to hear what the care.
Absolutely.
Grows and hopefully it'll be, enough people that we can talk to groups. Run simultaneously.
No, but I think it's figure outable.
Like that attitude, positive.
Yeah.
I've talked about maybe becoming a facilitator and so, maybe we could do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Might be one
upstairs,
group, the
downstairs.
other.
Still drive together.
Yeah.
Right.
Potential.
On those layers of audience, in my case, my wife and I were practicing together.
Yeah.
So caregivers, we're
Are
both going
both.
through it together,
Right.
but we had family. They can say, you guys still, oh, how's it going? This is everything. This is all we're doing.
Right.
So it's, I'm thinking about, what's the class, what's the audience? But more than likely, I can see there's not much interest of the people who aren't going through it beyond the caregiver to, come.
Any other questions or comments? That's a good question. I'm not familiar with that. Is anybody else?
What we call about family member call about alcoholism and brain injuries. Put them out there. And it's a treatment place, treatment both of them. So it's understands alcoholism and concussions.
I think I see a combination of their.
Not that maybe. Okay. America and.
Which happened first? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been multiple brain injuries.
These resources are really helpful. It's at the Gallatin County Detention Center. And you see people with both of those things, drug, alcohol, and concussion, PTSD, the whole mix.
Incarcerated, and there's some studies.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The trauma, then it becomes when medication is supposed to help out with that problem. Otherwise.
One little area.
So it's, I guess it probably just ranges for everybody. So I mean, just it's like it, just the questions, those I did. Questions I did.
Right, yeah, it's a very broad spectrum of individuals from, the professional, whatever, I just see the whole demographic to somebody that, it doesn't differentiate brain injuries, so anybody can get one. And so one of the things that I love about working right with this population is it brings together such a diverse group of people, which can make for really rich conversation and connecting at that human level, because it doesn't matter what your background is, you have this kind of shared connection, which just creates this really beautiful community. So no, there's not a specific criteria you have to meet to join it, because there's so much variety in that. And I remember one of the first things you told me about concussions is no two are alike.
And to saying person, multiple questions, each different.
So like kind of the end goal for every 6 weeks, obviously is to have a support group. But I guess the outcome would be like, I guess, increase. Like I said, probably exactly. Too.
Right, I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
But like,
Yeah,
so like
feel
every
it with
other than,
aging.
like a resource group together. Kind of like, what's your ideal goal?
The goal for the end of it is for somebody to feel like they have some more tools to navigate life, and then it's not so like this end or this end of the spectrum that you're just always feeling like you're in a really rocky boat, but feel like you're a little bit more even keel. Like, yeah, there's challenges and I've got some tools. This is hard and look at the progress I've made. So it's kind of that, and knowing that it ebbs and flows. That sometimes there can be a setback and sometimes you move forward, and, you know, several steps. And it's just, as Kathy said, that sense of acceptance and that realistic optimism of here's my reality. And I have this optimistic outlook that I can find my way forward. With support and little bits of joy. Doesn't have to be something big. Yeah. Yeah, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. So I am a ski instructor and I've had a couple concussions before. So, and I know that a lot of my coworkers have as well. And just working with that population, I mentioned how I was to a buddy that I was coming to this
Yeah.
tonight. He's like, "Oh, take notes," because like, so it's. For me, and just looking at this, I think it's like, wow, this is really cool. Like, and I could see a lot of my coworkers benefiting from this. The thing, I guess my question is like, for those that would be interested that might not be able to make it within that time frame
Yeah.
of like 5 o'clock, or might not be able to make it every week. Is there, I guess, a way that they might be able to still participate or still access, I guess, the session, if you will,
Sure.
to like still learn from it, be able to, just, I guess, grasp some things from it.
Sure, that's a great question. A couple things come to mind. One is if they want an in-person experience, we hope to repeat this. For an in-person experience, there's online resources through the Love Your Brain, which offers, you can go at your own pace, work your way through it. So you're not going to be with a group, but you can go through these different things. And you can do some online series via Zoom. So you'll have more of a national or international community. So you have those kind of three options of, you can go to an online format or to meet in person through the Concussion Resource Center. And I'm happy to get you some of those resources.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, just even if I could post that on like one of the bulletin boards. For
Yeah.
people to see.
Yeah,
Like,
are
I'm
you
sure-
a Bridger or
I'm a, yes.
YC? Okay,
Yeah, and I know more than a handful of people who would be pumped to like see some of these resources.
Yeah.
Started in the,
right.
Which is true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then with the 6 weeks, like, I guess, would it be okay for some of them, say, like, that could only meet 4 or something to still participate in that?
How does that work?
They build
Missing-
upon each other, and when we have a group together, there's a sense of safety with one another and trust that builds. And if somebody's kind of coming and going from that, it can
Yeah.
just change the group dynamic a little bit. So that would be one of my concerns. I think it would be nice if that person could come and go so they can get the pizzas, but then it just kind of affects the rest of the group.
Yeah.
So my preference would be that people could come to the majority of it. So, and at least the first one, so there can be this connection and give kind of the first chance to the people that can come to all of them. And then if there's still a place available, then allow that. I just want to make sure there's a group that feels safe with one another
Yeah.
in order to be able to share.
If you know time or date would be better for the next series.
Yes.
If you want to give us that information. To me.
Yeah.
Make the deals done later.
Yeah.
Really give us-
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just, yeah, if I can get this on, one of the bulletin boards, and I think quite a few would try to, participate. I assume.
Right? So we are recording this presentation, so if they're gonna listen to it, you take notes, they can listen to it.
Right.
That part.
Yeah, you can have them reach out to me directly as well. I have a thing for ski instructors, so
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are, right?
yeah, I used to be executive director of PSIA. That was my nonprofit work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely connect with the ski world,
Yeah.
which is another thing that draws me into this because I know a lot of people, that's how I got my concussions was through skiing.
Yeah.
And see it all the time. And it's just, oh, I just bumped my head, get up and keep skiing.
For sure, and I think a lot of people don't realize how much it affects them until like some of that stuff starts to compound, and then you run into the alcohol abuse and all that other stuff that comes along with some of the concussion. So I think this is an awesome, great resource. So I'm pumped to just share it with more.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes.
Question, Mike, certainly answer your question. Working with you, on the stats, most people have concussion for 2 weeks, 85%, 90 days. You're not better than 4 months. That's great. Based on the times you've done 6 months, do you have a sense of where people are on that spectrum as to with their concussion more or less than 90 days compared to this class with you?
Most of the participants, it's been at least, I think, 6 months to a year afterwards. Most of them have not been through.
But the other part is that if you love your brain, it's any level of brain injury.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be specifically concussion mission. So it's moderate severe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are in your groups.
But if you did it's a 6 to 12 month spectrum, that's
I don't think there's any time for this. I think
Right.
the earlier the better. But then continuing at every today, is just saying actually better to get that positive mindset. Okay, that's the bump in the road. I gotta, move ahead with this. Alright. I love it. Just all of that. Not easy to be resilient, but throughout our life. So, things thrown at us. Okay, how am I going to get through this? So for people to sign up then for the course, there's on our website, there's the application forms, so that Teresa background.
Yeah.
And they go directly to you, or you looking?
Yeah,
at
it,
it?
yep,
So-
it goes into my Google Drive. And so what I thought I would do with that form, I will email you the link so you don't have to search for it. So I'll email you a link for the registration. And then you're welcome to share that with anybody else that you feel would be interested.
If you received anything, about this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's on the CRC website.
Yeah, CRC website, CRC. E-newsletter that went out on the newsletter, you just promotion.
Yeah.
Link to. Finance and you're saying limited,
We can fit 14 pretty comfortably in a circle. So that's what I was thinking for the max. Yeah.
people that would have 6 or 7 of these, so. Let's start things going, but that's. Hopefully, maybe, good connections with all sorts of, all sorts of groups of people. So.
Sounds like the ski community is a pretty good resource.
Let's do it out there.
Yeah.
For Bridget.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking about in my head is like, I'm sure that there's other people in like the ski community up at Bridger, up at Big Sky, that would definitely be able to benefit.
So how to get to this, we've been trying to, as a board, been trying to get information out to them. Needs to do it. Hit a lot of roadblocks. It's not quite by the right person to get it.
I know my work specifically has been having a lot more resources on those boards regarding like mental health, like how to get help with that. Like, so I think that I could probably post some of this stuff on bulletin board and yeah, try to spread the word. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Appreciate your attendance.
Thank you for being here. And your
and,
interest.
yeah, for everybody else, et cetera, to get the word out.
Very much needed here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
Please do.
Surely we start discussions.
Right by all the ski resorts. Yeah, so I know I can fire at Bridger. People with lockers and stuff.
yeah.
It's spread out. Not as easy to. Thank you, everybody. for your Interest.